They are either here or there. It's not this political speak. Yeah, and I have to give them props for that. Yeah, that you know clearly where they stand. They know exactly what they're saying. I think it was on the 18th or 20th of March or something. Vance was speaking at the American Dynamism. I think it was a conference of innovators and business owners and populations, people in the tech space and the military industrial complex, a bunch of big people. Vance was there to give a speech, and in his speech he discussed a lot of things. Yeah. And one of the things that I think links directly into, well, if we have the conspiracy theory that the Trump's administration is very happy with having better quality of education on a national level, but less accessible to everyone. Yeah. If they're happy with that, then the argument of J.D. Vance saying, we now want to bring back manufacturing. Yeah, the Trump administration wants to bring back manufacturing into the US, and they're arguing that, well, we want to do that, and we want to do that in a way that we are not going to be capitalizing on cheap labor, because growth and innovation doesn't have to be capitalizing on cheap labor, and we're going to stop every
optimist side and on the populist side not to see the failure of the logic of globalization as a failure of innovation. Indeed, I'd say that globalization's hunger for cheap labor is a problem precisely because it's been bad for innovation. Both our working people, our populists, and our innovators gathered here today have the same enemy.
It's important for them that the people that get those manufacturing jobs are Americans, not illegal immigrants. This is what that they will use. But J.D. Vance...
So it's not even legal immigrants, because there are two, you could be legal immigrants or illegal.
The reason I haven't said legal yet is because J.D. Vance said we have reduced, which is true, actually, if you look at the statistics now, because of the different approach of the border patrol, whatever, they now have considerably less illegal entry in the southern borders of the U.S. Yeah. It's dropping 90% month on month, which is mental when you think about it. So basically, he said that in a speech that, look, we have that's improvement that this administration has brought. And for the first time in a long time, we also now have, keep in mind, the situation where people that were employed in the last few months, there were more of them that was born and bred in the US as opposed to migrants. He said in a year or so, it's like immigrants were getting more jobs. So not that they were getting more jobs, more. So when you look at everyone that was employed within a month, majority used to be immigrants in the past year. And for the first time in 1 year, now, in the last month or so, majority of the people that got jobs in the US were American born and bred. And this is why I did not say legal immigrant, because he made that point. Yeah.
So this is a war between natives and immigrants. So regardless of
almost. I don't think that's exactly how he means it. I'm only deducing from the point of
exactly.
He talks about, we have stopped access to cheap labor in two ways. Yeah. The first is you cannot, we won't support you if you would move your manufacturing to countries with cheaper labor.
Indeed, I'd say that globalization's hunger for cheap labor is a problem precisely because it's been bad for innovation. Both our working people, our populists, and our innovators gathered here today have the same enemy. And the solution, I believe, is American innovation.
And we also have stopped the opportunity for you to get access to local cheap labor. And I think you mentioned this as well, that when you go into restaurants and so recently, you see that you probably have more white Americans, in fact, as opposed to before. And that's something that that's important to at least the Trump administration. And when you tie that in, that those jobs that we normally make the argument that are Americans going to do them, the reason Americans won't want to do them is they probably had more access to education, blah, blah, blah. It was easier, right? Now, if you have a system that the educational quality is super high, but less people have access to it, it would mean that the people that have access to education can take the limited white-collar jobs, the limited design and innovation jobs, and now you have a lot of people that just by the virtue of I think I couldn't get access to education anyways, those manufacturing jobs that they want to bring back, they get it.
So this is a holistic view actually. So every other thing has to work for this. Yeah, it makes sense. It might be, I mean, yeah, it's logically sound, right? But everything has to work. So the dismantling of education department, this like the border control, security wise, yeah. So if one doesn't work, it fails.
Exactly. And an incentive to bring manufacturing back. Right? So all those things has to work. When I listen to J.D. Vance's speech, I have to give him props. I think that guy, he can speak. Yeah, like there's passion in how he speaks, and he's very articulate, very easy to understand as well. Like he kept it simple, kept it real. And this is one thing that even whether anyone likes it or not, I'll always give the Trump administration props for this. They keep it simple. We all understand. They are either here or there. It's not this political speak. Yeah, and I have to give them props for that. Yeah, that you know clearly where they stand. They know exactly what they're saying. And in that light, as part of J.D. Vance's speech, he talked about globalization and the idea of this global village that we've always been talking about. But he said that in the last 40 years, the American government, they have been considered in the way they thought about globalization. Almost as if the idea of what globalization should do led to failures with regards to American innovation. The globalization that the Americans wanted in the past, and then this is the reason that I also like Trump administration, the realness also allows you to see that let's stop this story of kumbaya, we are friends, we are looking for you to succeed, where everyone is playing a game where they're trying to maximize their own payoffs. Right? Yeah. When America engages Britain, it's what they're doing. When Britain engages Nigeria, it's what they're doing. When Nigeria engages France, it's what they're doing. But this thing where countries try to pretend as if they really care about this greater global good, the Trump administration is showing us that was never the intention. They mask it all in speaking in some things that normal people won't understand. And these guys are just making it simple.